I grow very tired of talking about Scott Jennings, the hayseed who loves to go on CNN and mimic filleting the president of the United States, Donald Trump. He just cannot get enough Donald Trump testy in his mouth, just filling his gob with Donald Trump balls. And yesterday was no exception, except this time he's taking it a step further and he's double dipping. It's Elon balls and Donald Trump balls, just blah, 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 getting right in there. And yesterday was Neera Tanden on the panel with Abby Phillip and made a very, very astute point about all of the whining being done right now about the domestic terrorism and the vandalism of Teslas, and that he also believes that it's domestic terror. And she makes the point, you'll hear it, and she's like, well, so that's okay, but then, what about January 6th? And he explodes. He flips out, demanding, you're new around here, you don't know, I was opposed to the pardons. I think that was bad. And then, no shocker, spoiler alert, I got another clip from just a month or so ago where he puts his displeasure about the pardons on full display. And again, double spoiler alert, it's not that aggressive. First though, here's the radical freak out, there's no other way to put it, of Scott Jennings.
Terrorism, people ought to be put in jail and left there for a very long time and be taught a lesson.
So when they do it to a Tesla dealership, it's really bad. But when they do it to the halls of Congress, we should pardon them. Is that your position?
No, I've never. I don't
Are
support.
you okay with the January 6th pardons?
I know you haven't been around for a while, so let me educate you about my position about January the 6th.
I'm so sorry.
Let me educate you.
No, you don't need to patronize me.
You don't need to be condescending to me. So let me educate you about my position. You want to attack me? Let me finish it. Let me finish.
Let's do this January 6th and then Neera.
I'm sorry you're getting emotional.
I'm sorry you're a condescending person who hasn't been paying attention to what I do.
Okay. Stop, guys.
So here's the issue. I didn't support what happened on January the 6th and was one of the first Republicans to call it out. I don't support the pardons. I have repeatedly, just like my friend Ashley here, said that no violence in our political system is acceptable. But this right here, what's going on with a guy who helps our country, who runs successful companies, who doesn't have to be doing this, and now one of his companies is under systematic terroristic threat and violence all over the country, and people seem to be laughing about it or fine with it. It's outrageous. I've sat at this table and had people say, we should cut Elon Musk from the government totally. He rescued our astronauts today. Is that what we want? The treatment of this guy is outrageous. These people who are doing this need to be found, put in jail, and made an example of. That's my point.
Anyone who commits violence against Tesla or Congress or anyone else should be put in jail, 1,000%. But that should not stifle dissent or opposition from Elon Musk.
Give it a little lip service. Give it a little both sides. Go ahead.
We're both sides here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to say that people are legitimately upset. They're legitimately upset at Elon Musk, and they're doing it on their own, but there is no reason to have violence in the country. But I just wish all of us would support criticism of, or would support punishing people who are violent wherever they are.
For what I understand, the Teslas will fall apart if you just leave them alone anyway.
Yeah.
There's nothing really anybody really needs to do about it. Just drive them enough. Eventually, the things will start to just fall off the side. From what I've read, allegedly.
Unearned arrogance from this POS. This man who worked for racist and breaker of the United States, Mitch McConnell. This political strategist whose only job is to perform Republican eroticism on Donald Trump, the cult leader, the dear leader, the man who can say and do no wrong. So if you believe him, if you are one of these people that likes to give people the benefit of the doubt when I don't necessarily believe they deserve it, here he is just a few weeks ago talking about how much he disapproves of the pardons. Really wait for it. Wait for him to really sell how disapproving he was of those pardons for the January 6th terrorists.
In shock, well, Republicans are in awe.
What about with the pardons? What's your take on that?
Here's what I think. Were these people punished? Yes. Were they ruined financially? Yes. Did they spend time in jail? Yes. Have their lives been ruined? Absolutely. And one of you said earlier, Van or Axe, that You think this sends a terrible signal that you can get away with things like this? As though we've never had a moment in recent American history when people were not punished for rampaging around when they shouldn't have been. It was the summer of 2020. And these people were actually punished. Those people were never even charged.
Hey, that's not true at all.
Have their lives been ruined? What kind of passive language there, Scotty? How were their lives ruined? Did they ruin their own lives? Ultimately, no. They spent a little time in jail for attempting to overthrow the United States government, and then they were subsequently pardoned by Donald Trump. I didn't hear a full-throated condemnation of the pardons there. What I did hear was a little pivot. What about 2020? What about the riots? What about the uprising? The protests against the murder? The murder. There's a convicted murderer in prison right now, Derek Chauvin, who kneed the neck of George Floyd for like 9.5 minutes, killing him. Scott Jennings, everybody. Cha-cha-cha. I'm surprised that these types of videos that get played on YouTube by commentators such as myself aren't flagged as pornography by YouTube, because really it is just sweet commentator on president action. What do you think? I invite you to this conversation as gross imagery abounds. You can comment below, tell me how wrong I am for bringing it to this point. Or you can call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. Please consider joining the team, becoming a channel member right here. After you've subscribed, which is free. You can click the join button below, which is becoming a channel member for $1.99 a month, and help me make these videos. I would appreciate it very much. You can also go over to Patreon, patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I love and appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. I'll be better next time. Take care of one another.